the empirical laws. In that empirical laws, we are not started with the laws. Actually, initially we have started some basic concepts and we have discussed some basic concepts, right? What are the concepts we have learned in the last class?
Word distribution, type is to token ratio. What is a type?
Before that, the class starting.
Functional word, content word.
Very good. What is we are taking one corpus. In that corpus, we are finding what is the functional words and what is the content words and what is the main function. Why functional words are called as the closed class words. Okay, which are all the words comes under content words, which are all the categories of grammatical categories of words which comes under functional words, which are all the grammatical categories of words which comes under content words we have seen. Then we have seen the distribution. Okay, what is we have taken a Tom Sawyer corpus, and there we have seen the word distribution, how it is distributed. We have taken each and every word and the count of the word and arranged in the descending order of the count and taken only the top 5% or 2% based on the number of words. And if you find that what will be the special about that list, if you take top 5%, the main speciality is the most of the words will be what? That's the functional words. All the words are most of the functional words category, grammatical category, and only few words comes under the content words. Okay, then we have seen how many words in the text. Based on that, we have find what is type and what is the token, and what is type, what is token, what is type token ratio, and we have find out what is TTR. Okay, so from that TTR we have to analyze something. Simply calculate finding the type for the given corpus, token for the given corpus, and finding the TTR for the given corpus will not help you out. From that value you have to infer something. What we have inferred, if the TTR value is high, then
there's a lot of variety.
Lot of new words will be keep on coming in the corpus. If it is small, the same words will be repeated. Till there we have till there we have seen, right? That is still here we have seen. Then we have taken the 4 things and we have identified which has the highest thing and which has the lowest thing, lowest TTR, the 4 general communication, the academic rows, like that we have taken and I have given an example. Next one, the word distribution from the Tom Sawyer, same thing. What is this table indicates? Word frequency and what is frequency of frequency? Can you tell me? In the Tom Sawyer, I have totally 8018 words are there. Okay, 18. So can you tell me what is this table represents? What is word frequency and what is frequency of frequency?
Word frequency is like number of times a word is repeated.
Very good. Very
and
good.
Then frequency of frequency is number of words having that frequency.
Very good. So if you see this table, what you can able to infer, can able to anything, whether you can able to find out from this table. I have a table having 2 columns. One is a word frequency. What is the word frequency? Number of times the word is occurring. One word, unique words occurring in my corpus is how many times? 3993 times. Okay, so like that. So can you tell me from this table what you can able to infer? So 2 words together occurring in my corpus, in the entire corpus of the together occurring in my corpus is like this. Okay, these many words or 2 words occurring together in my corpus, 3 words occurring together, 4 words occurring together, like that. So from this, what you can able to infer from this table? Whether words have equal uniform distribution or uneven distribution?
Uneven.
Okay, there is no even distribution. Okay, so what is frequency of frequency? How many birds in the corpus has that frequency? So how many birds in the corpus has the frequency of 1? Okay, how many words? There are 1292 words which has a frequency of 2. Frequency is number of times occurring. So there are so what we can tell is so this is the highest and this is the lowest. So what is this first one? So 3993 words in the corpus. There are words in the corpus with the frequency of 1 that occurs only once in my corpus, and there are 1 or 2 words. If you take the last one, there are 1 or 2 words that occur more than. There are 1 or 2 words that occur more than
100 times.
More than greater than 100 times. So from this, so what is my total sum is 8000 words. Okay, so in that 50% of the words are occurring only once and 50% of the words are occurring. 100 words account for 51% of the overall. That is, so can you tell me which is that is what is that 1 or 2 represents 50% of the total words? Which is rare words? which are all the rare words here. So out of 8,000 words, some around 4,000 words are occurring only once in my corpus. So they are called as rare words or frequently occurring words.
Rare words.
Rare words, because roughly 50% of the words that in my corpus are occurring only once with the frequency of once. They are rare words. That is read only once. They are occurring only once. Okay. So we call it as read only once in my corpus. And other one is other part is the down. If you come down, 100 words account for 51% of the all the tokens of the text. That means what? Roughly 100 words account for 50% of the 50% of the roughly 100 words account for 50% of the tokens in the. Can you tell me what this down part represents? The top part represents these words are rare words occurring only once. If a word is out of 8,000 times, only one time if it's occurring, it is called as what? Rare words. Yes or no? Yes or no, students? Rare words, roughly 50% of the words are occurring with a frequency of 1. They are called rare words. Okay, that is read only once in my corpus. And 100 words account for 50. They are telling that there are 100 words that account for 51% of all the tokens in the text. Those words are rare words or common words. 100 words are occurring more than 100 times. 1 or 2 words are occurring more than 100 times. If you take a word there, in that it is occurring more than 100 times. Off, it is occurring more than 100 times. When, it is occurring more than 100 times. Mostly that this part will be the content words or functional words.
Functional words.
Functional words, yes. So, but common that, so this words, this is called as a rare word. This is the greater than 100 words are occurring for 1 or 2 frequency. This is called as what? Common words or rare words?
Dark
Common.
The common words. So the common words, the common words occurs for 50%. Please mute yourself. Common words occurs for 50% and the rare words occur for 50%. So the good, who's there? Please mute yourself. Students, please mute yourself. It is disturbing others. If you want, you can leave the class and go and talk and come back. Who's that? Shri Rohit. Sai Shri Rohit. Sai Shri Rohit, are you here in the class? Sai Shri Rohit, whether are you available in this Teams now? I'll mark absent. What is this register number? Make a note, 1 minute page. If you people are not here, please don't simply join here and don't leave and go like this. So 50% of the words are rare words and 50% of the words are common words. So can you tell me which is a good part and which is a bad part in your corpus by identifying the rare words? How many percentage of the rare words and how many percentage of the common words? Whether common words will give any information from the corpus? From the common words, whether we can infer any information? No. So the good part is 50% of the words are common words that can be removed for analysis. If you want to perform some analysis, whether of, the, and, but, he, she, would, these are all the common words which is greater than occurring greater than 100 times. Whether that words will give any information for your corpus if you want to perform some analysis?
No, ma'am.
No. So the good part is there are 50% of the words in the corpus are the common words. So those words can be removed from the analysis. So it will reduce the half of the text. Yes or no? That words can be removed, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So when you remove that, it will reduce the half the burden of the text, half the text. And what is the bad part? So that can be removed easily, so that because those are all the words, the common words which is commonly occurring in the corpus, that will not give any information. But using the rare word, what is the bad part?
Ma'am, maybe
50%
those
of
kind of
it.
words were combined with the little less common words and they would have a different context. So maybe we might lose out on context.
That by combining bigrams, trigrams, you can take it. I am telling only the unigrams now. I am talking about a single word.
Okay.
If the word can be combined with any other two words, then you can have that meaning. I am taking only a single word, occurrence of each tokens. I am telling token.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Okay, we are talking about the type token ratio.
Hmm.
In that I am asking tokens. So there are 8,000 tokens in my text. In that 4,000 tokens are occurring only one time, and there are more than 100 tokens. We have 1 or 2 tokens which is occurring more than 100 times. So the 1 or 2 tokens which is occurring more than 100 times are called as the common words. From the common words, whether we can able to, so if we are taking the data, if you have some corpus or the text information, you want to extract some information out of it, whether the common words will give some information for you to make some analysis or statistics.
No, ma'am.
No, that will not help you. So we can able to remove the, when you remove it, 50% of the words are removed. That is good part, so that I will reduce the size of my corpus by removing the common words. But what is the bad part? 50% of the words are occurring only once. And that 50% of the words, when they occur only once, whether with using that word, whether I can able to infer any of the statistics? We cannot perform analysis if the word is occurring only once. If the word is occurring multiple times only, I can find out this word is occurring with here, this word is occurring along with here. So what can be that word? We can perform some analysis. It is easy for this. So why I am showing this table is, even if common words occur in the entire corpus, for if you take the tokens, the 50% of the tokens will be the common words, and if the 50% are the rare words, then the good part is the common words can be removed easily to reduce the size. But the bad part is the rare words are occurring only once. With that single time occurrence, we cannot perform some analysis. See, if you want to perform some statistics, the word has to be repeated multiple times in multiple places. Then only I can combine, gather some good information. Okay. So for that I have shown this table. Next we will go for the laws. The first law which we are going to discuss, the empirical law, is the Zipf's law. Okay, this is the first empirical law. It shows how a vocabulary distribution behaves in a vocabulary. Okay, for that what we have to take is, take a larger corpus and find the word type. Okay, what is the type? Can you tell me the type? Take a larger corpus. The first step what you have to do in Zipf's law is take a large corpus. Larger corpus in the sense you have to take a larger data set. Some one paragraph of text or 2 pages of text, that we call it as a corpus. That corpus can be of any domain. It can be of medical domain, or it can be of a political domain, news articles, or anything you can take it. So what is a type? We have seen in the last class, right? What is called as a type?
If one word is repeated.
Unique words. That is generally call it as a concepts. That is the unique words, right? Types are nothing but the unique words, and the tokens are nothing but the instance of the concepts. Instance of the unique words. Okay. So first thing what you have to do is take a larger corpus. Okay. Find the word types. What are all the word types available in the corpus? That is unique words you have to take. Okay, and count it. Okay, count the frequency of each word type. So the is a unique word. All the tokens, all the unique words you take, and the is occurring how many times. Find the tokens of that. Okay, count the frequency of each word type. Then what you have to do, list the word types in descending order of the frequency. So you are taking one corpus, you are finding all the types and finding the frequency of each type. For example, there is one type which is occurring in my corpus, that the frequency is 5 times. 5 times occurring. Like that you write all the unique words, okay, and write the frequency of that words. Then arrange it in the descending order of their frequency, so that the word which has the highest frequency will be at the word which has the highest frequency will be at the top. And after that, what you have to do is you have to rank them. So the word which has the highest, so the third column will be the rank. So here you will be having 3 columns. The first column will be the type, second column will be the frequency, and third column will be the rank. So please understand, I didn't write it here. If you want, you can make a note. That's why I have given. Take a larger corpus, find the frequency of each word. Take each and every word and find the frequency. For example, the is a word occurring 10 times, is a word occurring 5 times, but is a word occurring 3 times, when is a word occurring 4 times. Like that, write all the unique words, all the words and the frequency. Then arrange it in descending order. So I will be having words, and the frequency, highest frequency word will be at the top. And third, what you have to do is after arranging in descending order, you have to have third column called rank. So whichever word has the highest frequency will be given a highest rank 1. You can give a rank. And the second highest frequency will be rank 2. Third highest frequency will be rank 3, rank 4, rank 5, rank 6. So the lowest frequency word will have the highest rank or lowest rank? Lowest rank. Okay. So lowest, wait, I have that. So I had one. See, I have a word called the, and, Tom. In my corpus, assume that there are only 4 words are there. Can you all able to see the screen? The small example. I have the word the, and, Tom. Can you all able to see, students, or I'll increase the size? Yes. So assume that in my corpus I have only 4 words. Okay, the is occurring 4,000 times, and is occurring 1,000 times, and is occurring 2,000 times, Tom is occurring 1,500 times. What I have to do? First I have to write it in a descending order of the count. So first I have found the words present in the corpus and count the number of times the word is occurring in the corpus frequency I have found. Then I have made a table. This is a table having 3 columns. The first column is the word, second column is the frequency in descending order of that, and a third column is the rank. So which has the highest frequency here among the 4 words? The has the highest frequency, so that will come first, and the frequency, and I have given a rank as 1. Okay, rank you can give it with the highest frequency. What is the second word? Second highest frequency? And so and with 2000, rank 2. Tom 1500, rank 3, and 1000 with rank 4. So this I have made it now. Okay, so I have a word, and I had the frequency, and I have given a rank. Based on this, we are going to define a Zipf's law. Okay, so count the frequency of each word, list the words in the decreasing order of their frequency, and rank them according to the frequency. So what the Zipf's law says is, once the word, frequency, and rank is done, Zipf's law gives the relationship between the frequency of the word F and in the position and its position in the list, that is R. Okay, Zipf's law states that it gives a relationship between the frequency F and the rank of the word in the sorted list R. Okay, that is frequency is inversely proportional to the rank. This is the law states that Zipf's law states that the frequency of a word is inversely proportional to the rank of the word. Okay, so what they are doing is inversely, that is there is an inverse relationship between the frequency and the rank. So if I multiply the frequency with the rank to get a constant, so F dot R is equal to K. What does this K represents? If I multiply F dot R, then I will be getting a constant K. What is that K represents here? Some proportionality. That is some proportionality constant. Okay, so F dot R. So we will check whether that F dot R is equal to that constant K holds or not. Okay, so take the previous example. So in the previous example, what is F here? Take here F dot R is equal to K. That K should be same for all the things. Okay, so in our example, whether F dot R holds or not, please check and tell me. F dot R holds or not. In this example, I have 4 words. Assume that I have a corpus having only 4 words and each word is occurring with this frequency. I have arranged, make a table with the words, frequency, and the rank I have given. What is F for the? Take the first word the. What is the frequency of occurrence of the?
4,000.
4,000 into what is R here?
1.
So which is equal to constant. So 4,000 into 1 is equal to what is the constant I am getting?
4,000.
4,000. Next, similarly, you check for other things and check whether Zipf's law holds for your data set or not.
No, it doesn't hold.
Why?
The third word Tom is not getting the same concept.
No, not exactly same. Exactly same, we cannot get it. Roughly at least between 4,000 to 4,500, 600. Plus or minus will be there. It is not deviating like 2,000, 10,000, 18,000, 20,000. Okay, approximately. Approximately it will be, because in your data set we will not, all the words based on the frequency we will not get exact 4,000 like that. Okay, roughly. See, one word is 2,000, one word is 8,000, other word is 500, and other word is 22,000, means that is not holds. It is approximately all are equivalent to what? Equal to roughly
4,000.
4,000. Okay, so in this so here this is the first law. Okay, Zipf's law finds a relationship between the frequency and the rank. Okay, that is frequency is inversely proportional to the rank. Whether we have to check whether this law holds or not. The next one, the Zipf's law, the same law they have given in a different manner. Instead of the frequency f, they have used the probability of occurrence of a word with a rank r. Okay, so PR denotes the probability of the word with a rank r, and N denotes the number of tokens. Okay, total number of word occurrence. Total number of words in the corpus means that is tokens or types?
Tokens.
Tokens.
So the same Zipf's law, instead of frequency, they have taken a probability, probability, which PR denotes the probability with the word with a rank R, and N denotes the total number of word occurrences, and they have given that probability is frequency divided by the total number of words. FR is the frequency with the rank R, and with the N is the total number of word occurrences. Okay, so using that previous formula, what we can do, F is inversely proportional to, the first law what says F is inversely proportional to
R.
So it can be written as F by N is equal to A by R, where A is some constant. Okay, simply if you know this, that is enough. If this laws and all we are not going to use anywhere. Okay, simply this are the laws they have used for the type token ratio, what you have learned, what is the rank. So you are writing all the types. Why we are learning all these classes? Before you are learning what is type tokens. So with that, if you know the type, and if you know the word frequency, and if you know the rank, and whether it's Zipf's law holds or not, we have to find it. That's all. Okay, so this is the next law based on the probability. So they have given this example, whatever example I shown here, that there I have shown, no, this is a simple example. This, if you understand, that is better. For the same Tom Sawyer, they have given this example, the word there occurring with the frequency of this, and that is rank 1, and this is a word which is occurring this many times with the rank of 2, and here is a word which is occurring this many times, so this is rank 3. So what they have done, they have identified all the words and the frequency arranged in descending order, given the rank and F dot R, and they are finding that whether F dot R holds or not for this Tom Sawyer corpus. Okay, so for your corpus also you can check whether the corpus holds the Zipf's law or not. Okay, next, third law. There are various other laws. What is the third law they have given is number of meanings and the word frequencies. They have finding the relationship. They have given a relationship. The third law states the relationship between M and F, where M is the meaning of the word and F is the frequency of the word. Okay, these laws are not popular laws. These are simple laws you can able to list out. Okay, so the number of meanings M of a word obeys this law. M is directly proportional to what? M is directly proportional to the frequency. Okay, so what is M here? M is the meaning of a word, and what is the frequency? What is the frequency? Number of times? Please tell no. What is M here? M represents the meaning. Each word has meaning or not? Rose, we have seen, right? R-O-S-E. It can be stood up, or it can be a color, or it can be a flower. Yes or no? So M is the meaning of a word. And F is what? Frequency. So occurrence of the word. So M is directly proportional to the square root of frequency. That is, as we have words with higher and higher frequency, then number of words with
meanings
higher and
will be more.
Oh, very good. That's why that's all here. Okay, as we have the words with higher and higher frequency. If a word is occurring for higher and higher frequency, then the different sense of the meaning. For example, rose is a 5 frequency occurring 5 times, so it will have different senses. In one place, it can be a rose, it can be a stood up, or it can be a color or something. Different sense or different meaning is to be used. Also, will be increasing in your data set. Next one, other laws. They are telling the correlation between the word length and word frequency. Okay, what is a word length? Can you tell me what is word length? What is word length? Given a word, how will you find a length?
basically count all characters in that word.
Very good. Number of characters the word has will be given based is the length of the word. So length of the word is based on the number of characters base present in the word and the frequency of that word, how many times that word is occurring. So in general, you take a English corpus and whether very long words are rarely used or commonly used. Long words.
Rarely.
Words which have 20
Rarely.
characters or 25 characters.
Rarely used.
Rarely used. Okay, that is word frequency is what? So that is words are the frequency of those. If the length increases, the frequency decreases. Okay, very good. So the frequency is inversely proportional to the word frequency is inversely proportional to the length of the word. Okay. So that is in English, very long words are rarely used. So the frequency of the occurrence of those words are small, less. Whereas if you take in English corpus, the small words are used very often because in our language is used for communication. When you are communicating, we are not using very long words for communication. We will be using small words for communication. So this is another law which is based on the previous law is based on the meaning and the frequency. Second, the other law is based on the frequency and the length of the word based on the word. So so when using all these laws, what they have given, I told you, what is the good part and what is the bad part. The good part is the maximum words or the down part. Good part is what we have seen this analysis in this table. Wait 1 minute. This table we have seen, good part is at the bottom part or at the top part?
Bottom.
What is why the good part is the bottom? We are telling in the corpus after performing some analysis, good part comes at the bottom level.
We can remove them.
We can remove them. Stop words, because most of them are the stop words. What is stop words? We will be using a term called stop words. What is stop words? Stop words. Can you tell me what will be stop words? We will be using a term called stop words in NLP. What is a stop word? After identifying the tokens, see, given a text, you will be identifying the tokens, each and every word in the corpus, and we will be finding out whether it is a stop word. Stop words are nothing but the
words like the, a, and.
See, again, you should not tell students like they are called as what type of words. That's why we have learned at the beginning, right? Those type of grammatical words comes under what category? Functional words. Immediately you should tell us functional word. Don't tell again the, and all. That's why we are learning these type of words of grammatical category comes under this functional word. These grammatical categories of words comes under content words. Okay. Bad part is what? Most words are extremely rare. That is the topper one. Only one word occurring is 4050% of the corpus. That's gathering sufficient data for meaningful statistic analysis is very difficult for most of the words because they are occurring only once. With that, we cannot able to see if your name is occurring only once. I cannot able to make out whether you are a good student or bad student. If I want to perform some analysis, if your name is occurring in many places, at least in many places, so I can from that data I can able to make, okay, he is a good student here, then again about you and he is studying in 6th semester, like that I can able to gather some information. Only in one place I cannot able to gather the information, which I cannot make some statistical meaningful information analysis. I cannot able to do that. Okay, next, the last one is Heaps law. The Heaps law says that the size of the vocabulary grows with the size of the corpus. Okay, that is the number of tokens. So the Heaps law gives that a vocabulary B is k n power beta, where k is also a constant, n is a constant, and beta is also a constant value, which roughly gives this. And what will be the n here? These are all the laws. Simply you can know based on types and tokens. What is n here?
Number of tokens.
Number of tokens. That is the last law, the Heaps law. It tells you how does the size of the overall vocabulary, that is number of unique words, grow with the size of the corpus. That's the size of the text. Now there's number of tokens. Number of unique words grow with the number of words present in the corpus is given by the Heaps law. That is given by V is the vocabulary, the size of the vocabulary, and N is the number of tokens. So it is given by K is a constant, beta is a constant, which roughly takes this value, and N is the number of tokens present in the given corpus. Okay, so these are all the laws we have. So what are the laws we have seen here today? Generally,
And Gibbs law.
Gibbs law with frequency or with probability. Then again Gibbs law with what are the different combinations we have seen with the meaning of a word. According to Gibbs law, meaning of a word and the frequency is given with what type of relationship? They may ask in one
That
word.
proportional.
Meaning of the word is inversely proportional to the
Square root
Right.
of
inversely or directly proportional?
Directly
Proportional to frequency.
Frequency, very good. And the length, according to Gibbs law, the length of the word and the frequency are given by what type of relation?
inversely proportional.
Inversely proportional.
Inversely. Frequency, which is inversely proportional?
Frequency.
Frequency is inversely proportional to the
Length.
length of the word. Like that, they may ask something. Okay. So this ends your second part. The third part, I thought I'll start with the third hour. Okay. Even if I start here also, I can't able to, again, I have to repeat it again. So this slide I have already uploaded there. Okay. So here in this chapter, here we have seen what is functional words, what is content words, functional words. So why it is called as a closed words. Content words are open words. Okay. Content words are open words. We can say other name. And what is type token ratio, how to find type token ratio, what is the relationship if the based on the value, if it is high, what type of relationship exists, if it is low, and given a corpus, what analysis we can make. Okay, how many unique words are there, how many repeated words are there, so what percentage of unique words are occurring in the corpus, what percentage of repeated words are occurring in the corpus. So that is, we call it as a rare words and common words, and accordingly we can make some decisions whether the rare words the common words can be eliminated. That is a good part, so that we can reduce the size. But the rare words, most of the words are rare words, that should not be there. At least only few are rare words, and the other words can be 3 times occurrence, 4 times occurrence means fine. Because but in this corpus, 50% of the rare words are, it is not a good sign, indication of the corpus, because we will not make some, we cannot do any statistics with that. Okay, then we have seen some laws based on the type tokens, everything. Okay, so we'll stop it here. And third hour only today you are free, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, third hour